Hey, in this video we're gonna finish the strand setup by connecting the rock strands to the crystal. Let's dive in. So this is where we left. First thing, I'm gonna add an output null just before the scatter of the crystal scattering, and I'm gonna call that output attribute rock, like so that we can create a different scatter into the strands context. So let's object merge this guy, and yeah, let's go pick up that null. So we have all the attributes we need. In that case, it's the density attribute that we're gonna look at. So let's drop a scatter node, and this is gonna define the number of strands that gonna connect to the crystal. So let's first check density attribute so that it's only affecting the top surface with the attributes we created in part 3. What we could do is drop an attribute wrangle. In there we're gonna create an ID attribute. So at ID is gonna be equal to at point number. So as you can see, it's very basic. We have ID attributes that's just following the point order. So right now that would be something like this, but if we try to randomize the order, we now get different results. That's going to be pretty helpful. It's a very cheap trick to achieve this kind of setup. So we're going to do the same in here. Right. So let's just drop a scatter. We'll copy past the one you had. And the idea is going to be that those scatter got the same amount of points. So this is going to be more like a utility node kind of thing. All the changes will be in that specific node, and this one's gonna be the relative reference. So we just passed whatever settings we want. So I'm gonna need the seed as well if we want to randomize the point scattering and stuff like that. I'm gonna disable the density attribute because we won't have that onto the strands, and disable relax iteration for more random positions. So the idea is going to be to merge those two guys so that we can connect it based on the ID attribute. So let's copy the attribute wrangle so that they all got an ID attribute, and merge those guys. So that's great. So we have a bunch of points, but we need to connect them. So I'm just going to drop a add node, and in there, in polygons by group, we're gonna do a by attribute and call the ID attribute we created with the wrangle. So right now we got a lot of different length, and we're gonna try to measure all that and delete the one that are too long. So let's measure the perimeter. So as you can see, if we go check out the primitive spreadsheet, we got different length between like 0.5 and 2 in some for the longest. So let's drop a delete node, and we're going to do a delete by expression. This time it's going to be at perimeter, and let's try smaller than 1. So it's going to delete all the smaller one, but if we do delete non-selected, you keep them. Well, you get the idea. Let's drop a control float that's going to be able to filter the length, and we're going to do something, a value like 2, and pass that in here. So right now we're gonna change that to delete non-selected, which allow us to isolate the strands that have a value under 0.58 in that case. Yep. So that's pretty cool. Could increase more or less whatever length you want to keep in your setup. I'm gonna put a little color here, so it's gonna be delete by length. And yeah, actually you could increase the total number, and it's just always gonna try to keep a length under the threshold you set up. So that's pretty handy. I'm not really worrying about intersection in that case because it's so kind of chaotic that, well, you don't really see what's going on in the end, especially when we'll add the fibers and stuff. The idea is just to have a base to drive the fibers on the main crystal, and got some extra like thicker fiber kind of thing. So that's more like a thick fiber for the crystal. Maybe we could decrease a bit, or ooh, that's way too much. Something like that, that might just work. Yeah, 0.7, that's fair. Let's visualize with everything else. So forgot to go back to the output scattering here, and let's see with the rock. So same deal, I forgot to go back to the final node. Sweet. Maybe we could apply a different color though for the strands so that they stand out a bit more. Let's go to the color, and we're gonna try some kind of green. Well, in that case, not gonna help much. Or maybe yellow. Well, let's go pink. Like, we are sure that it's popping up now. Okay, so that will do. If you wanna get different result, we could also play with the global seed. All right. So pretty fun stuff. Now we're gonna be able to start setting up the fibers guide.